Hi, I'm Travis,
And I'm Greg,
and you're listening to Building Blank.
a collaborative world-building podcast.
Today, we're talking about taverns and inns.
And we're going to put one in Bunnilaug.
Hey, Greg,
Hey,
I have a need.
a need for what?
A need for mead. I'm real thirsty today.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. So that's why we are going to be talking about inns and taverns.
And some of the tropes.
Yeah, so let's just get into it.
Yeah, I think we should start with some of our favorite inns and taverns.
All right, well, what's your favorite inn or tavern from a fantasy setting?
Well, I really like the Prancing Pony,
The Prancing Pony is a classic.
just because it's a classic.
And if we're talking about the Prancing Pony, we can't not mention the Green Dragon.
Yep, it's true. How about you? Which one of your favorites?
I really like the idea of the Crossroads Inn from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
That was a fun one.
I like how it just keeps changing hands throughout
Yeah.
the whole series.
You just keep popping up too, like
Yeah, like they stop there when they're coming down to King's Landing the first time, and you just think, oh, whatever, it's just there.
just an inn, okay.
And then it just kind of keeps coming back.
yeah, you don't really notice it as much in the show as you do in the books because they make a specific call out to it being that same inn.
Yeah.
Another good one is the Hogshead Inn from Harry Potter.
Yeah. With well, I guess who runs that one again?
I honestly don't remember.
Oh, I guess we probably shouldn't do any spoilers if anybody hasn't seen them yet.
Yeah, it's already like what, the oldest one's 10 years old by now.
Yeah. And then I really like the Waystone Inn
The Waystone Inn.
from
What's
the King Killer Chronicles.
Okay, I haven't read that yet.
That's Patrick Rothfuss. He did that, helped write that one graphic
Yeah.
novel you like.
Yeah, I've been meaning to pick that one up, but I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a framing device because it's chronicles. Like the way they do it is the main character owns the tavern, and then he's kind of telling a story from there.
Okay.
And then that's kind of how you get into the story. And so,
Yeah. So that kind of leads us into the first trope that we want to talk about. Was actually my third one down, but you mentioned it. So in between worlds, typically it's quasi interdimensional.
yeah,
Not
or it can be.
Can be. It depends on how you want to use it, but I really like using that trope, like you said, as a framing device to tell other stories. Where, let me just see here. In between worlds, it doesn't have to be in a static place. You can probably pops up in more than one location, but in more than one reality. But we're not here to talk about just that. What other tropes do you think we need to talk about when we talk about inns?
Well, we're getting all these off of TV tropes, obviously. And the first one there you mentioned in the very beginning was the need for mead.
Need for mead.
Which is a great one.
Got some real thirsty adventurers.
Yeah, that one's just basically the standard, everything you'd expect from a fantasy tavern.
So the typical fantasy tavern is a wooden construction building, poorly lit. The drinks are either ale or mead with questionable quality usually. Yeah. And nobody may even realize that the mead and beer aren't the same thing, which just is appalling to me.
Yeah, because of your
I love mead.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I always thought, I didn't know that it was just honey wine.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, just because of probably all these tropes.
Yeah, it kind of like they interchange it with beer a lot.
Yeah.
Some other features of Need for Mead is you're almost always going to have a serving wench with a low cut revealing top.
Yep.
There's typically mercenaries in there for hire. There might be a job board. It's places for the protagonists or adventurers to sleep.
Yeah.
Talking to the bartender usually comes up with rumors and or other, hooks.
Yeah, and then we can get back to story hooks later.
Yeah,
when we're going to talk about building our inn.
Yeah, and there's typically, in most cases, a dark, brooding, mysterious man in the corner,
like in the Prancing Pony.
Yeah,
perhaps?
like in the Prancing Pony. And you know what? There's always a chance for a good old fashioned bar brawl.
Yeah, and that's another trope. tavern brawls, which is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, the adventurers are in a tavern.
Someone looks at you funny.
Yeah, and then just next thing you know, there's just the whole bar.
The whole bar is fighting with pool cues and chairs.
Yeah, just talking about tropes. I've heard a lot of people. Some people really love them, and some people hate them, and don't want to use them at all. And I just think it's important to know these tropes for whatever camp you're in.
Yeah. Like if you love them or hate them, you got to know what they are.
Yeah, because if you hate them and you still want to know what they are, so you don't use them.
Yeah, but I don't think tropes are inherently a bad thing.
No.
Sometimes they could be definitely overused, but that doesn't make them bad. And a lot of the times you can take these tropes and flip them over on their head or use them in unexpected ways.
Yeah.
One example of a overused trope is they all meet in a tavern.
Yeah, that's a pretty overused one.
Yeah,
especially in the RPG world, right?
Yeah, it's just very, I don't know why. Actually, I think it's harder to justify that one in RPGs.
Like tabletop art.
Yeah, so like you got 4 to 6 random people who don't know each other. All of a sudden they're thrust into an adventure because they're at the same bar. I don't know. I've been to a bar. I don't typically go on an adventure with a bunch of strangers.
Unless we get like Shanghai.
I have done that. Don't get me wrong. But, I always ended up going home.
Yeah, you didn't the next day hang out with them again.
Yeah. And like, who are these weirdos?
Yeah. And then
especially like if everyone's carrying weapons, don't want to go home with them.
So after that, what do you think here, Travis?
What do you mean?
Like, we're talking about tropes.
Mm-hmm.
And now our goal here is we want to talk about them and then make one, right?
Yeah. So what where are we? What names for taverns? You always know a tavern by its name.
Yeah, and the name can do so much, right?
Yeah, it kind of sets the tone, I find.
Yeah.
And again, like as any trope, you can turn that on its head and be named completely opposite of what the tone actually is. But typically, you'll be basically setting the tone. What are some of your favorite inns that you've made?
Oh, I don't know if I want to talk about them yet.
No?
Well, just because like I do a lot of like placeholder names when I'm writing, and I just feel like some of them are kind of a little too cheesy.
I love naming taverns because it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, what you got a ton of them?
I have a ton. Yeah. So some of my all-time favorites are the Raven's Roost.
Yeah,
that's a good one. The Dusty Pelican.
I really like that one.
That one was fun.
I just don't know why he's dusty.
I don't know. It's a pirate bar though, so
okay.
It's on the docks. You guys actually never went to it.
Yeah, I just remember you telling me about it. The Dusty Pelican.
Yeah. The Hammer and Anvil. It's a pretty standard name.
Yeah.
What else?
What was that one where I got attacked?
Oh, like the leaky faucet or leaky tap or something. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember, but it was something dumb like that.
Yeah. Speaking of leaky, that's another one from Harry Potter, right? Isn't it? The leaky cauldron.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how would you use a tavern in a writing standpoint? Like, what do you use taverns for or inns?
Well, it's a good. It's just a good scene to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a public space, so you can meet people there that you might not expect to meet.
Yeah.
Like if you were in a private house, you'd have to make a reason for a character that your character doesn't know
to show up.
So I think that's a good thing. And then just drinking, I guess, in itself can mean that you can make your characters do something that they wouldn't do sober.
Yeah.
And if it is a seedy place, then that kind of raises the tension a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like with lowered inhibitions, strangers, and then, possibly potential dangerous strangers can add
Yeah.
a lot of tension.
A lot of story hooks can be brought about in taverns.
Yeah.
I like to use them when I am running a game. I like to use them as information hubs. Sometimes the only way to find out some information you're looking for is to go to the tavern. It's a good place to put up. I love putting up job boards because gives the players a sense of like, oh, hey, these are all the options we have, clearly laid out. I don't gotta, if you're too subtle, sometimes it's hard to get people to go and do these things, right? You gotta throw the hooks out there sometimes blatantly.
Yeah, unless you're on a time crunch.
Yeah, you just gotta get going.
Then they just miss all your story hooks.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice shot.
Yeah, at one of your players there.
Yeah, Damos. He I put on all these hooks. He's like, nope, just skip it all. Let's go.
Yeah, then you just scrambling to make sure that you got content for that.
For the direction that they're going. Yeah. That was partially my fault. I was trying to push back the dungeon we just did for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because it was all creepy and full of skeletons and stuff. So,
which was
happy
really...
Halloween, by the way.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween.
Yeah.
That was a cool temple, by the way.
Thank you. It was fun. But we're not talking about temples. We're talking about inns.
Yeah, we're talking about inns. And so, what do you do with an inn, right?
Yeah. Why is it there? Where would you use it? I typically like using when I'm building a town. That's the first thing I do is where is the inn? Are there multiple inns? Where are they going to be? Right. I typically like to put them at crossroads.
Yeah, because it makes sense.
Yeah. Near the center of town. Typically I think that the town should like build out from the inn. Right? Should be in a nice central location, easily accessed. Because not just the main characters or the protagonists or the players are going to be going. There's also like, it's like the lifeblood of the community, right? That's where everyone goes to, hang out with their friends and, do what we do when we go to bars and stuff, right?
Yeah. Just thinking about it, I think I pretty much do that as well for villages. Anyway, yeah. I'll say I need a village. What could this village main thing be? It could be, like fishing or logging or mining.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then I go to the inn or the tavern inn and flavor that, name it.
Yeah. Based on that.
Yeah. And then build out from there.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing cities, I don't really do that.
Well, I do the same thing. I do exactly what you just said. But with cities, I break up it into districts first.
Oh, that's smart.
And then put the tavern in each district and build out the district from there.
That's smart.
So treat them all. Yeah. Treat them all like their own separate little village. So whatever the theme of the district is the theme of the inn.
Yeah, because what I do in cities is I build either the castle or like the palace or the mansion or the central temple, whatever's central to that.
Yeah, first,
and then go up from there. But I'm not really in the world building stage. I mean, I am, but too hard right now for my story. I want to finish it first and then go and put all those details in.
Yeah. So that's what I like to do is again, you brought up a good point, putting like the central feature of the city, which I do. So like when I built Rosenkur, I knew that it had to have a Colosseum at the dead center of the city.
Yeah.
So that went in first, and then the districts got carved out around it, and then the inns got placed and the roads that were put in, or the main roads anyway.
That's smart. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm totally taking that.
Yeah. So like I draw out my map and I section off the districts, do like the main roads, put the inns down at whatever crossroads are near the middle of the districts, and then I build up from there.
And then you do it like based on what that district does, like the same way you would in a village. Like what's its main export, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So like I typically have one district that's usually in a big city anyway, a market, right? Or this is the dwarven quarter, or
the port,
right? The docks,
if they're on the ocean.
Yeah. So it really depends on what the purpose of that district, because I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be a district if we didn't have a like it would be just merged into another one. Residential areas, like what's the wealth status of that area, right? So there's a poor area or a middle class area or a rich area will have a different theme to the inn, right?
And then different quality.
Yeah, different quality, of course.
So for the inn we're gonna make, are we gonna do it for our Bunnilaug?
Yeah, we'll do it for Bunnilaug, and then we will go from there. Start building that town, that mid-sized village, as you will.
Yeah, so we'll go from what its main thing is, which is mining.
Yeah.
And then kind of flavor the inn from that.
Yeah.
And then build out from there.
Yeah.
And then talk about possible story hooks and like practical applications.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Maybe some main characters, like you need a proprietor.
Yeah, proprietor. That's also a big part of how I name inns, is I kind of think of, okay, who owns this place? Who's running it? And that'll also inform me the name choice. Right?
Yeah, because you don't want to be too convoluted with your name.
No.
Or too like meta, I guess, with it, right? Because it could simply just be like whoever's running it, his name.
Yeah. Which is very valid. Like I do have some that's just, Howard's Meat Hall or whatever.
Yeah, they don't all need to be on point.
Yeah, they don't have to be clever necessarily.
Because I mean, like one or two clever ones is clever.
Mm-hmm.
If they're all clever, it's kind of overdone.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay. Unless I mean, that's kind of unless it's like an inside running joke or something.
Yeah, like a franchise.
Yeah,
that could be fun. Have a franchised inn in your world.
Yeah, that'd be interesting because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah,
have you? In any of that?
I played a game where the blacksmith was franchised.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, we went to 2 separate towns and it was the exact same name, and we like figured it out. Oh, Glasshammer Forge. Isn't that what the last town's blacksmith is called? Yep, it's a franchise.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, we should take a break. Yeah. Sounds like a good spot to take a break.
Okay.
And after we will talk about, we will actually build our new inn for Bunnilaug.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll see you after the break.
See you after the break. And welcome to the break.
Yeah, welcome. Here you got a shout out today.
I do, and I have a shout out for my buddy Shell. He gave us a listen, and he let us know that our bass was a little too high, so I've dialed that back. Hopefully it's better now. I'm not a sound engineer, but he is, and hopefully this works out better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then also thanks for the polls and all the comments and likes on Facebook.
Yeah, we love interacting with everyone on Facebook and on Instagram.
Yeah.
Still figuring out a bunch of how some of that stuff works, but thank you for reaching out.
I think we'll figure it out, and it really brings in that collaborative part of the
exactly.
World building.
We can only get better.
Yeah, and so if you guys have any suggestions or any ideas, just feel free to send them to us.
Yeah, so send them to us on Facebook at Building Blank Collaborative World Building Podcast, on Instagram at Building Blank Podcast, or you can send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email at buildingblankpodcast@gmail.com.
And again, I want to say, if you've liked what you heard and you want to hear more, feel free to give us a 5-star rating. It really helps out the show, helps people find us, and share the show with your friends if you really like it.
Yeah, and that's about it. I guess we'll get back to it.
Yeah, let's get back to it. And we're back.
Hey,
how's
after
it going?
The break, it's good. We had some pizza.
We did, and we recorded part 2.
Yeah.
And then I realized that our mics were muted the entire time.
Yeah, we did a whole section. We made it in and everything.
Yeah, and now we're scrapping all that and starting from scratch.
Yeah, we had a pretty good name, I thought, just off the top of our heads.
Yeah, it was great, but no, now we're coming up with a new one. So, what should we name our inn, Greg?
Oh man, I don't know. That was such a good one. Should I say what it was?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you said it. It was Bunny's Burrows.
The Bunny's Burrow.
Yeah, because we're in Bunnilaug.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then I was talking about changing the name, the spelling of the name from Bunnilaug Log to Laug.
Yeah, Bunnilaug.
Yeah, and
like a more dwarvy sounding.
Yeah. Oh, we did quite a bit there.
Yeah, it was.
We covered a lot. But I guess you guys didn't hear that. So what do we got to do here?
So, I don't know. Let's come up with something new. Something fresh.
Well, we were talking about how we have what the main thing in that village is, kind of their main.
Yeah, the main export is iron and mining.
Yeah. And how we can get some names from that. Like I was talking about
alliteration.
Yeah. And that's where you came up with the Bunny's Burrow.
Yeah.
But we'll just scrap that just so that we can just come up with something fresh on the fly here.
Yeah.
And the way I like to name things is like, or well, anyone, I guess, is, yeah. So it's a mine. There's mountains. What are the names of the mountains? Maybe who's running the establishment?
Yeah.
And maybe the region. I don't know.
So who is running this establishment?
Oh, I don't know.
Sure as hell isn't Bunifer. Not no more.
Yeah.
She doesn't exist.
Because we were going to name it the Bunny's Burrow. And then I said, why is it because it's Bunny who's running it? And you said, yeah.
It is now.
But
not anymore. So I'm thinking we have like an old guy.
Okay. We'll go a different way with it.
We'll go a different way. Completely different direction. We have an old human man.
An old human man.
Human man.
In a dwarven settlement.
In a dwarven settlement. He came here, looking for work when he was young, and now he's, serving up some drinks, and he's like one of those old guys that just, you don't take no shit.
Yeah. A little crusty.
Little crusty, kind of cranky.
What about something to do with crank?
Crank?
Well, like, dwarves are kind of like, not crank like, like the street drug, but dwarves are kind of mechanical.
Okay.
Like maybe we could play off a theme there.
Okay, they're industrious.
Or like the creaky or the cranky or the, kind of along that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I have an idea. How about something along the lines of the creaky anvil? Anvils aren't supposed to creak.
That's true. They're not. They shouldn't be.
But this one does.
The creaky anvil. It sounds a little spooky.
Kind of. Well, it is Spooktober.
Spooktober, yeah. Well, in Canada anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the creaky anvil.
Creaky anvil, okay.
Let's go for it.
Crusty old man. What's the old man's name?
Ooh. Maybe, like, why would he name it that? That's what I like thinking. Okay. Like, who's the guy that would name it a creaky anvil?
Maybe
that's a little funny.
That's pretty good.
So maybe like he's a little cranky, but
maybe he was a blacksmith.
Okay.
And he just got a little old and couldn't wield the hammer anymore, so he traded in his hammer for a faucet, or a faucet,
yeah,
beer tap.
Okay, like maybe he's got some arthritis.
Maybe, yeah.
Or a rock joint if we're in Skyrim. Love
the
that, by the way.
rattles.
Yeah. Okay. So what's his name? Well, he's human.
Human.
So I guess we got to figure out what kind of flavor of human we have.
Well, I'm gonna call him. I like to call him. Let's call him Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jeremiah. Last names. What's good?
Well, maybe
last
it has
name?
something to do with anvil.
Jeremiah Anvilmar.
Anvilmar.
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's go for
Let's
it.
go for it. Let's do it. Send it.
Okay, so we're at the creaky anvil.
Yeah, and you got old Jeremiah.
He's an ex blacksmith.
Yep.
And why did he come to the Bunnilaug mines?
He probably came as a young lad looking to hone his craft and learn from the dwarves. And maybe he fell in love with a dwarven wife.
Oh, maybe.
And he decided to stay.
Maybe we can recycle Benifer.
Maybe we could. Yeah.
That's a cool thing. Neil Gaiman has a thing that he calls like where his ideas come from.
Mhm.
He calls it like his compost heap.
Yeah.
Where he just takes all these things and things that maybe didn't work and just kind of throws them back on the compost heap.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of, melt down, and then you can take ideas back from there again. Okay. So even though we made Bunifer and then the Bunny's Burrow and all that, we're just throwing that on the compost heap. And, we can take elements from there.
Yeah, sure.
If we want later.
So okay, let's pull Bunifer back out of the compost.
She'll wipe her off a bit.
Shine her up, wipe her off. And so it's Jeremiah's wife. Maybe one of their sons took over the forge.
Okay.
Or one of their children. I'm not going to say sons specifically, but like one of their kids took over the forge, and now he's like a real tall dwarf.
Maybe old Creaky, what's his name there? Jeremiah. Maybe he just like adopted her kids. Like maybe she already had kids.
Maybe. Yeah, I like that.
And then maybe she was like a widow.
I like that. Okay, that's good.
With a young family.
Okay.
Because I don't know how we're gonna do interbreeding. And so
hand wave it.
Yeah, so we'll just
who cares?
To make that easier, we'll just meet. He adopted them.
Sounds good. So Jeremiah, obviously heart of gold, taking in this young family.
Yeah. So why is he so cranky then?
Because he's an old man.
Because he's an old man. Then
he's an old man.
That's all you need to know.
And his wife is like 200 and still looking hot.
Yeah, and he's like what, like 60 maybe?
60, 70, maybe even in his 80s. He's just all cranky, that his kids are the same age as him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. But getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah. And they're just young folk.
Let's go into talking about some story hooks.
Okay.
Because I like the world building can kind of be its own thing, right?
Yeah.
But then it's not until you really start trying to apply what you built that it really starts getting fleshed out. Like we already learned quite a bit about Bunnilaug and maybe some of its economy and demographics just from figuring out who this guy is, right?
Yeah. So I like one thing we could do is maybe have a bounty board with say, hey guys, hunters wanted, go hunt down these centipede monsters and bring their carapaces back and get paid.
Well, because that's another thing. If they're eating whatever ore maybe, or just whatever they're doing and they're burrowing through there, they probably have some pretty hard scales.
Yeah.
Maybe even like dragon scale strength.
Who knows? Could be.
And like one of those segments would be pretty useful.
Yeah. Or even just like to clear them out from endangering the mine, right?
Well, yeah, just like a bit of both, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so it takes them to the blacksmith and maybe
and then you're clearing them out.
Take their heads over to the end and say, hey, here's the bounty.
And then he could also make some centipede steaks.
Yeah, could. And that brings us to another point is, what kind of food do we have?
Oh, I just thought, how you get crab's legs?
Yeah.
What if you had centipede legs? Like the exact same way they cook them, But they'd just like be these like
massive things.
yeah, and
Okay.
you just crack it open. Well, I don't know how hard it would be to crack a centipede leg open that has super strong hide, but
Well, you get a tool for it. We get dwarves, hammers everywhere.
yeah, they'll just hammer it open.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's super sweet after you can't get into it, but
you boil it up.
But once you do, it's
Yeah.
just like a delicacy.
That'd be good. Yeah.
And there'd be a lot of them. There'd be like 100 legs.
What other story hooks do you think we could use in a tavern?
Well, like, I liked what we were talking about there last time when I'm writing from the perspective of the hero,
Yeah,
or the protagonist, right?
Correct.
And so when I'm thinking of story hooks, I'm thinking from their point of view.
Yeah.
Coming in and where do I want my heroes to go, right? And then I'll use that as the vehicle to get them there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas yours is a little bit different. Yours kind of come from the other side.
Yeah.
DM,
so
right?
like I basically I have to build the quest first.
Yeah.
And find like the access point and where the hook is going to be, and have to throw it out there and throw some bait out. And I mean, anyone who's ever been a DM or GM knows that your players will either jump on these hooks or they'll completely ignore them. Which is why I like using a bounty board at ends, is so that it's not subtle. Because sometimes if you're too subtle, they'll just go right over people's heads, right?
Yeah, I like your bounty boards, because you actually put one up when we're playing too.
Yeah,
and you pin all the
jobs to it. Yeah,
and then something physical we can look at and be like, oh, what are we going to do?
Yeah, which one are we going to pick?
Depending on, maybe we need gold.
Yeah.
Then we'll do something that does that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And
but yeah, so for story hooks, then you're coming from kind of a different point of view. You're coming from the quest giver.
Yeah, point of view, instead of like what will the protagonist take?
Because those are the players, right?
Yeah, and they're super unpredictable.
Yeah, so I guess as world builders, we could figure out where do we want to go.
Yeah,
I kind of want to go into the mountains.
Yeah,
like I would like to see a hero or players go in there and fight some of these things.
Yeah, so maybe there's another good thing that taverns are, especially taverns, are good for, is having rumors. Like maybe some of the other patrons are talking hushed at a table because there was a cave-in one of the mines, and they're unsure if there's anyone survived. There might be, a rescue attempt going. Maybe that's a hook for a quest.
Yeah, it's the thing, right? Like it doesn't really make 100% or like a lot of sense to just have your heroes come and save the day.
Yeah,
like there's already a rescue attempt going on, so now it's like, why do we
maybe
need
the rescue attempt is being waylaid by these giant bugs?
Yeah,
right,
or something, right? Like there's something else going on that's complicating. They don't need the rescue necessarily.
Yeah,
but the rescue team is in danger.
Yeah, maybe.
I like that.
Yeah,
because it's like they got a lot of people in the mine.
Well, maybe they're drilling or digging or whatever, and they just need people to go in and be bodyguards, basically.
Yeah, they're working.
They're working, and they need some help because this cave-in maybe attracted some of these bugs, right?
And then, their labor force would be reduced anyway because they're half of them are
in
trapped.
There. Yeah. So the thing I like about inns is, typically in my experience in RPG setting, when you roll into town, that's the first place you go. Almost every party I've ever been involved in, the first thing they do is go to the inn, buy some rooms, chit chat with the bartender, see if there's anything going on in town.
Maybe have a drinking contest.
Yeah, a lot of that happens in some of my games.
Or just in need of a long rest or something, right?
Long from the weary road.
But okay, so we got this cave in. How do we convey that information now to whoever we'd be sending on this quest?
Well, maybe players or the protagonist comes in, and innkeeper is upset.
And then there's like
because
nobody in the inn either, right?
nobody in the inn. You walk in, the innkeeper is like visibly upset, and like you go, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, my son was in there.
Yeah.
You know, this is what happened. My son, like it just happened. My son's trapped down there potentially or dead. I don't know."
Yeah. But if
and he's
the
an old
town's-
man,
If the town's a
he can't
ghost
do
town,
anything.
why is he still in the tavern though?
Well, he's an old man.
He's at the Creaky Anvil.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out.
Well, he's the innkeeper.
Yeah.
Like he's an 80-year-old frail arthritic dude.
What if they had the inn turned into a temporary like hospital or something?
That could very well be, because you probably don't have formal hospitals in most of these settings.
They'd have like maybe there's a temple. That would be one for sure.
Yeah.
And then maybe they got like beds in the tavern. You're like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, you walk in and there's like beds all over the floor. All the tables are, stacked up in one corner,
and I like that. That's cool.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And then the only person you can talk to is the tavern guy.
Yeah, because everyone else is running around being nurses or whatever.
Does he serve them drinks?
Probably not that in that situation.
Right? Kind of a ghost town. Would they be let into the town even?
Well, I don't know. It would have to be for it to be a plot hook.
Yeah, that's the thing. I love finding plot holes.
Yeah.
And then just asking the right questions just to fill it,
Yeah.
And then that's like how I like to flesh out my world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just assume whenever they get let in.
Yeah. They get that in somehow. Maybe they bribe the guard, or however you do get in.
And then they see the Creaky Anvil. Like, oh, we need to stop.
We gotta stop. Gotta drop our stuff. Get some rooms.
Heard they got some good mead here.
Yeah.
Get in there. There's beds everywhere. On the main floor. And this guy's, visibly upset.
Well, just like doing his best to like keep busy, keep his hands busy, right? He's worried about his kid. He's trapped in the mine. Potentially eaten by centipedes.
Maybe Bunnifer's there too, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she'd be maybe setting up the beds or something.
Yeah, she's working as a nurse.
And then from there, then they could get sent into the mine.
Yeah. I like it.
Cool.
Good plot hook.
So let's just do a rundown of who we got today.
Okay.
And what we did. So we wanted to do the tavern in the inn.
Yeah.
And we got the Creaky Anvil.
Yeah.
Correct. And the Bunnilaug. We changed the name to the spelling.
Yeah.
To Bunnilaug with the AUG. And then what else do we got? We got Jeremiah Anvilmar.
Jeremiah Anvilmar.
I like it. And then
his wife Bunnifer.
Yeah, we used Bunnifer from the previous session there that we
messed up.
We messed up there. And we got some information about Jeremiah.
Yeah.
And his domestic life. And then a story hook.
Yeah.
To get the characters into the mine.
Yeah, to get them going. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but like maybe they find something that thickens the plot a bit down there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, cool. So with that, I think that brings us to our weekly inspiration.
Yeah.
So what inspired you this week, Greg?
All right. Well, as you know, as you know, Travis, maybe not the audience, I'm in school. So I've been doing a lot of history, Canadian history lately. So I know my last weekly inspiration was history as well, but I'm going to pick another one from this for this. And the governor of the Hudson's Bay Company, I believe I'm probably getting that wrong, but it doesn't matter, would kind of appoint someone to be warden of the plains.
Okay, that's a cool title.
And so as soon as I heard that, I thought, I'm putting that in my world.
Yeah.
When I get to some plains at some point, somebody's going to have that title.
Warden of the
Plains. And then I just kind of...
make sure they stay in their own runways.
Because they're plains.
Yeah.
But, so for a lot of my inspirations, I just kind of let my imagination run with it. Yeah. But if it's not what I'm working on, I just shelf it. Like I'm going to use that, but I'm just going to throw it away for now.
Mm.
And yeah, so that was my inspiration for this week.
Very good, very nice title.
What's yours?
Well, so as you know, here in Manitoba, it started snowing this week while we're recording, and I was driving to work, and I was thinking about like Antarctica and like the Arctic and stuff, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was like another continent on my world that was unexplored? So I started working on building a continent for a future campaign. It's not going to come up in this one, where the players will basically be exploring and starting to, instead of, oh, it's a 2-day walk to next town over, you don't know. There's no roads, right?
Yeah, you're just out there.
You're just out there, and maybe, there's an expedition going. Maybe there are some isolated villages and things, and maybe some other big plot hooks. So I started working on like a basic map for that.
So, did you like why what about the snow made you want to make just a whole new continent?
Well, I was just thinking about like specifically, I was thinking about adventuring in the snow, like in a tundra like setting. I don't really have a tundra. I mean, I do a bit in part one of like my upper continent, but like I was thinking, it's still like explored, right? Like, wouldn't it be a neat, exploring the tundra and going and then, walking up a glacier or something?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Exploring, finding some hidden civilization or something.
Yeah, your whole world hasn't been completely explored.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
And that's just one kind of small thing, right? Weather change. And now you got a whole new continent.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. So I love world building. You just like get an idea, like put it in my world.
And you expand on it.
Yeah, and you just go from there.
Mm-hmm. All right, perfect. Well, that concludes our weekly inspiration. We do want to know what inspired you this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know.
Send us an email or
let us know on Facebook or Instagram.
And let us know what you think of the creaky anvil.
Yeah, and also I wanted to say, send us some patrons. We need some patrons for the creaky anvil. I wanted to say leaky anvil. That was not right. So yeah, if you can send us some patrons, some regular everyday folk. What's their job? What do they do? Yeah. And
maybe what's their favorite drink?
Yeah. So what do they like to, what do they like to eat?
Yeah, because then we can start filling up this village with people.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I guess that concludes our episode.
Yeah. Thank you guys. If you want to reach us or to let us know what your Patreon is or what your inspiration was, you can hit us up on Facebook at Building Blank, a collaborative world building podcast. You can hit me up on Instagram at Building Blank Podcast, or you can send us a Gmail at buildingblankpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, cool. Well, we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for listening.
Yep, thank you.